Welcome everybody to another iteration of checking out the Arakai leagues. I am once again your boy Ty Smith from Facebook here with Dark Wizard Mike, a good friend, player, and commentator as you see here. And once again, we're gonna be looking over the April and May leagues for Arakai's Set 10 format. Now, Mike, you've been playing Set 10 Crystals for a little while, which I believe is one of the best decks along with Inverse Dragon. What do you think about this format?
The format's very fun. It hasn't changed a whole lot. It doesn't do anything too crazy, but it certainly makes it a lot more fun and arguably a lot more interactive.
Yeah, Crystal and Inverse Dragon Lord really out here being the we have a term that we coined back in Set 2 format when Celestial was the only battle control deck in the game. Any deck that does battle control would be insert thing here Celestial. So like Fish would be blue Celestial, and so we've been coining Crystal as shiny Celestial.
Shiny Celestial.
You can't say yellow Celestial because that's what Celestial is. It's yellow.
Celestial is yellow.
It's just yellow. It's just straight up yellow.
It's yellow.
I'm a very big fan of Set 10 format. I think Inverse Dragon Lord and Crystal both bring very interesting things to the table. Every deck from Set 10 has seen some level of success. They're all playable, they're all fun, but Inverse Dragon Lord and Crystal are the best ones. I'd say Maligned Armor Dragon is a close third, but it's very, very, very cool stuff. Very fun format. So,
definitely.
You know what? We have 2 leagues we need to catch up on. Let's just jump right in.
Let's do it.
What's that Philip DeFranco said? Let's just jump into it. Is that the he said? Yeah. So first of all, top 6 for the April 2022 Set 10 format. We had 19 players. The nation breakdown is as follows. Actually, we can do the deck breakdown. 3 Crystal, 2 Nanomite, 2 Tome, 2 Maligned Armor Dragon, 1 IDL, 1 God Lizard, 1 Monkey, 1 Llama Burn Control.
Oh, that one. 1
Angel, 1 Andrew Plush, 1 Vampire, 1 Horror, and 1 Chimera. That's a pretty good spread of decks as we see here. Our top 6 was Andrew Plush, Beast, Nanomite, Maligned Armor Dragon, Nanomite, and Maligned Armor Dragon Nexos. So both of the Maligned Armor Dragon lists ended up making top 6. Pretty good conversion. Crystal having terrible conversion because it went from 3 in the entire tournament to 0 in top 6.
That's something that we can actually address as a Crystal player myself. More about that when we get there.
Yeah, of course. But overall, pretty good spread for the April format. I would specifically like to talk about the fact that a lot of the decks you see here make it over into May's league. Like the meta is pretty dang spread. It's pretty well off. And Beast, even though they received a heavy amount of nerfs after this league, simply because outdated card design unfortunately crept back onto us, they're still very playable. I think this is a pretty good spread of decks we see here. In the nation breakdown, obviously the winner is Maligned, having 2 in the entire tournament and then having 2 in top 6.
Yeah.
Maligned is the obvious winner here. The God Lizard player was hysterical. I love that. And yeah, there's just not much more to talk about here. So let's talk about the actual winners from the event.
Yeah.
So the actual winners of the event, we had first place was Andrew Plush, second place was Monkey, third place was Maligned Armor Dragon, and fourth place was Nanomite. And Nanomite, I think, is still one of the best decks in format. I think, like I said earlier, the 2 best ones from Set 10 were Inverse Dragon Lord and Crystal, but Nanomite is still a really powerful contender.
Nanomite was set 8 or 9,
It was 9, yeah, set 9.
9. Yeah.
I'm a very big fan of the spread we see here, like I said, many times already. But why talk about how cool these decks are when we can show you? When we can show you how cool they are by simply being that awesome. Where did I put there it is. I forgot how to do certain things. It's been a while since we've done these, guys. School has made School has made getting these things out on a consistent basis pretty hard, but we're back and we're ready to go. So let's start with the off with the 4th place list. We have Raccoon's Nanomite, and he calls the deck Nano Machines, son, for obvious reasons. Very obvious reasons. Nice referencing there. Yep. Now, the first thing I want to notice about Nanomite is that even though every single one of their allies is level 1, right? Every single one of the cards in the deck is level 1. Everything you see on this list here pluses or minuses the opponent in some way. Every single card here pluses. Every single card. It either cantrips or pluses. The MVP of this tournament, I want to say, was the Nanomite of the Minuscule. not M&M, the life stream or whatever that the monster, not Monster Reborn, Soul Charge is. That card, if you don't play around it, we'll just win the game. We'll just straight up win the game right there. Because being able to summon, add 3 nanomites from exile to hand if you have no allies. Woo, doggy! Meaning you can never clear board. You can never clear board or you're gonna lose the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. We see a lot of very interesting things in the side deck here. A not complete side deck, however. I just think overall, it's not a cookie cutter list, I'm gonna say, because every nanomite list looks different, but like every decision here seems manageable, and now they have access to like, what, 9 upstarts or something? 2 Peep 5s and 9 consistency pieces. This deck is nuts. Yeah,
Astral has so many different consistency pieces, it's kind of...
Yeah, it's kind of nuts. But overall, I think that this deck is solid, or because I was gonna have make a nano machine joke, but there is no nano machine joke in there, unfortunately.
There is not.
We'll get him next time.
We'll get him next time, folks.
One of the noticeable things is the Minos buff with the Sacrificial Shield. That buff actually ended up coming in a lot. So basically, for those of you who don't know, Minos' ability to get plus 5k was dependent on how many allies you had on the field. But if you use the shield, you got rid of the allies on your field, and so he got weaker. The buff means he gets the power at the start of attack phase and keeps it even if the allies leave the field. So the shield just makes him a big freaking wall in the early game. And you minus yourself too, but that can swing games if used at exactly the right timing. But because it's so timing reliant, I can see it being in the side deck as a result. But that's basically all to say around here. Now we get to the 3rd place list. Mine! It's me! Guys, I top my own card game tournament.
Let the memes roll in, everyone.
Let the memes begin. Let the memes begin. This deck here that you see is, listen, it's just every single card from the set 10 stuff. Except I have 3 imperfect interruption there because when timed correctly, that card can also swing entire games. I want to say that the MVP of this deck was absolutely Violation Dragon. That thing wins the Nanomite matchup in like every single way possible. It's incredibly powerful.
I've seen a lot of good things.
Oh, you cut out there, buddy.
I've seen a lot of good things about this particular card. This is a deck that I wanted to play and thought about playing it in the last one, but I don't know. I just decided against because Malign Dharma Dragon was getting a lot of representation as it. More things need to be looked at, and obviously I am a hardcore crystal.
Also, you're a crystal simp, lol.
Yeah.
I am a very big fan of what is it on? Dragonic Undertaker. That's another fun one. Sacrifice your dude, add another dude back. The fact he adds the same ally that was sacrificed is kind of nuts, but we ain't changing it. That's too fun of an interaction. I like that a little too much. It's too cool.
Yeah. So the thing is, this is an opinion I've had recently, anyway, regarding.
You guys speaking in your microphone, buddy. You keep cutting out.
Ow, god damn it. I think my microphone's too far away.
Oh, you're good.
Let's try this now. How is that? Is that better?
That's a lot better.
A lot better, you say?
A lot better, yeah.
With my phone. I find this opinion like very commonplace in a lot of broken stuff is fine if it's fun.
If it's fun, yeah. If it's broken but fun and interactive, it's fine. It's awesome. It's funny. I will say the thing that ended up losing me my game was my monkey matchup because that matchup's kind of hard. This deck doesn't really have outs to pure beats aggro. It just tempos. It just tempos really well. The
thing with this game is not a lot of decks do.
Yeah.
And this was a big thing with like Nanomite and Monkey. Because Nanomite can hard aggro very quickly if you're not careful.
Yep. Very big fan of, actually another MVP, Phase Field, kept coming in a lot of matchups. Oh, and, Victory Inversion, that was also a fun card. Both those came in during a lot of my matchups. I think the one where it was most relevant, I actually don't remember the brackets for what the set, for what the April League looked like. But I remember someone swinging with their boss monster, getting Inversion, and that just winning the game right there. Like, Inversion is such a good card. 2nd place, however, I just spoke about Monkey.
Speaking of Monkey.
Ooh, ooh, ah. Ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh, ah, ah. Ooh, ooh, ah, ah. Ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh, ah, ah. Ooga booga. Ooh, ooh, ah, ah. Big number, me smash, caveman noises. Something I found hilarious was that Forest of Gigantes isn't here.
Yeah.
I love that card in this deck. Another thing, this is a Toyo special, I'm going to call it. The 3 pulse fields in the main.
Yeah.
Like, the 3 pulse fields in the main are absolutely a Toyo special, but it did end up winning him a lot of games, except in the Nanomite matchup.
Yeah. This is like me with a recharge back in...
Drac 3 charge flashbacks. Oh, man. I don't think I ever, well, Capuchin is nuts. There's a really cool interaction actually involving, Crested Baboon and, was it the Animal Kingdom that it's interaction was? It was to just add back stuff that got blown up in order to keep the pressure and tempo going. Like, it has its own really powerful tempo plays.
Yeah, like, that was something that I found really difficult because it was also, like, interactive on your turn, like, on the opponent's turn. So, Actually, this reminds me of a game I was playing, a different game, and I got flashbacks to this with one of the matchups I was dealing with.
Oh, that's incredible.
I was like, oh no, it's Monkey.
Again, an incomplete side deck, and you're going to notice that a lot, is that side decks really aren't as important as they were in previous formats, which some people would go, no, they're not using your side deck. I'd go, yeah, based. Side decks aren't required. Awesome. Fun. That's actually great. If a side deck is required in a game, it's probably a bad game. It's just a nice option, you know? So,
me, fact, up until recently, I've never used a side deck, and even then I forget it exists.
Really? Yeah, no. It's we're gonna see that a lot with the next few decks, but this is an insane deck. It still functions just fine, even though I got a lot of nerfs. The only set 1 card in here, given these we'll talk about the set 1 league that's coming up later.
Yes,
the only card that is played in set 1 is Fauna Spirit Caller, but that card didn't get changed, so this deck is still just as powerful as it was before, and I'm gonna be playing around with it myself when we get our next leagues. Possibly, maybe, I don't know. I'm actually pretty curious with Monkey, because turning cards sideways is fun.
Turning cards sideways is fun.
But now, first place.
Andro
Plush. Ah, man, this deck is so funny!
Oh, I know. Actually, what happened to this? Because, it topped this one league, and then we had never seen anything about it again.
So, there were a few nerfs, first of all. But the nerfs did not actually impact the deck all that much. All it got rid of was their constant hand ripping. So, my theory, and this is probably a very correct theory, is that this deck requires the patience of Inoue herself in order to play.
No one's going to understand that.
No, seriously. This deck requires you to be like a nun in order to play this properly.
And you got a lot of people who are like, I just want to turn cards sideways.
Yeah, no, seriously, this deck is like really... The best way to describe Andro Plush, okay? The best way to describe Andro Plush is it doesn't do anything, and then it suddenly does. That's literally the best way to describe it. This is a do-nothing deck. It doesn't do anything. It just kind of sits there and dirtles until the opponent runs out of advantage. It's hilarious.
Okay, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, and then it goes, all right, now you die. Now it's time to die. This deck is hysterical. I love Andro Plus so much. Orsaro is kind of insane. A lot of the cards that you see on screen here are just, like, they all kind of blend together, but still. Basically, it's not as hard to have no cards in Lost as some people might think. It really isn't. And Starlight Surge and Log Keeping both being very good cards. No Stargazing, surprisingly. I guess they just didn't have room.
Guess not. I noticed a lot of people talking about, like, the Rakan Cheeto guy.
Yeah, Rakan had to be changed as a result. First of all, Rakan and Cheeto having that much synergy is hilarious. Shoutouts to Rakan and his cat.
Oh yeah, shoutouts to Rakan.
But second of all, yeah, that was one of the things that had to be changed because it was doggy, insane.
Yeah. A lot of people were saying this deck wasn't fun to go against.
Oh, it kind of isn't. It's really annoying to play against, but
yeah,
that's kind of the point.
Yeah, I can respect the decision. Like, not every deck is going to be fun to play against, and that's something that a lot of people need to come to terms with.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, yeah. not all decks are fun. Deal with it.
I mean, listen, I'm the guy that literally likes playing control decks that say you can't play the game. Okay.
I'm aware.
I would like credit for restraining myself enough to not put floodgates in this game, okay? I would like credit. I would like credit. I've held myself back. I've restrained myself. I would like credit. I would like credit, smile. But yeah, that was the April League's results. As we can see, it's very early in the format and people kind of quite figured out what the best builds are yet. The first leagues of every set are kind of like this, but then we get to the May League. This one ran a little long because of school.
School for some, work for others, myself included.
Yep. But this was when the Dragon God theme deck came out and gave us a few new pieces that we'd like to talk about after we talk about all the leagues here.
Yeah.
So starting off, we have 3 Inverse Dragon Lord, 3 Crystal, 2 Nanomite, 2 Tome, 1 Dragon God, 1 Armor Dragon Blaze variant with Benkei, 1 Star. That's very interesting. 1 Oracle, 1 Andro Plush, 1 Levios, 1 Vampire, 1 Iron Legion, and 1 Maligned Armor Dragon. As you can see, people have started to figure out that Inverse Dragon Lords and Crystals are the best things you can be doing in this game.
Pretty much. In this format, anyway. This format.
In this format, IDL and Crystal being the 2 best decks is actually kind of cool. I really like... We'll talk about IDL when we get to the list later. Well, let's talk about Crystal when we get to the list later.
Yes.
Because, fortunately for us, the tops in this league both include the best decks. Like, we'll get to talk about those. But...
And I have a lot to say about it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well,
I want to hear
at least one of them.
Our top 6 is Dragon God, Crystal, Oracle, IDL, Nanomite, and Wizard, all in that order. The winners, however, looked a little something like this. We have first place Dragon God, second place IDL, third place Crystal, and fourth place we have Oracle. We have, this is actually, I think, the best top 4 that we could have had to talk about this format specifically.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Oracle still being as good as it is nowadays is like nuts. Like, that's actually incredible. It's a set 3 deck that hasn't gotten support since set 5?
Sounds about right, actually. Yeah, because
it's just aged really, really well.
Oh, it has, and we love it.
We love it. I absolutely love Oracle. So let's talk about these decks now, starting with the 4th place deck, Oracle. As you can see, again, it's all just set 5 and earlier stuff with like a few exceptions. So
would this be considered a budget deck for this time?
If we're counting it, then yeah, it's considered a quote-unquote budget deck, I'd say. One Who Sees All in the Cassandra is still one of the best things you can be doing. It's just removal, it's free, it's fresh, and all the cards in the deck. Oracle is what I like to call a deck that just adapts really well. Because it has a lot of cards that help with effect protection, and they have their own perfect defense in the form of Quick Foresight. As a result, they can deal with the attacks that Crystal has and the removal that IDL has, making it an extremely good rogue pick for this meta.
Oh yeah.
Everything in this build deals with a meta deck in some way, shape, or form, because Oracle has an insanely good toolbox. Insanely good. And if they ever need anything, One Who Sees All can turn into any Oracle in your deck. It can just turn into any Oracle you want. It is actually incredible.
This does remind me of something that I wanted to bring up that came up quite a bit.
Yeah?
Regina in the side.
Oh, yeah. That's nuts.
And what I found hilarious was people were putting in 3 Regina. I was part of this conversation. We put in like 3 of the Invincible Vessel Regina for like mill and pillage matchups.
Yeah. Yeah, and they worked just fine.
Yeah, but those 2 matchups specifically never actually came up. No one was playing Leviathan or any kind of pillage deck, which is what we was all preparing for.
Oh man, dude.
Because between the April and the May League, people were Knights making a comeback, Cyber being a thing, and Leviathan was getting quite popular in testing.
Yeah.
So we were like, let's prepare for those matchups and matchups that mess with the deck. So everyone was putting in Regina, and like it was applicable in some instances, but never like to an extent where it actually mattered too much.
Yep. Yeah, very, 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 very funny. I'm a big fan of Regina, though. I really like her as a card.
Oh, me too.
Again, I mean, we've talked about Oracle before on this channel. Oracle has outs to everything and pluses like no other. You will never brick in this deck. You just won't.
Yeah.
you will simply never brick. I know people were like, oh yeah, my deck's bad because it bricks. This deck never bricks. It just doesn't.
No.
And it has outs to everything in the meta right now. Every single one of these cards aids like fine wine, and it's awesome that it's still playable. All I will say is, because I think I'm probably gonna release it for a little something later, don't think Oracle's done just yet. Don't think Oracle's done just yet. Don't think Oracle's done just yet.
Don't worry, Ty. Nobody did.
Oh yeah, Oracle's definitely not done anytime soon. The third place list, Mike. Start losing your mind. Go off, buddy.
Here we go. So this deck is actually one that I find quite interesting. It's very similar to one that I built in the early stages of Crystal Set 10. Because like this, I was talking to the guy because we kind of did a little bit of like theory crafting with this deck. We all kind of like worked together, me and a couple of others, this guy included, and we all kind of just figured out our own build and what we wanted to do with it, and this one actually turned out really well. I am genuinely impressed by this. There was a lot of discussion, a lot of back and forth about Liberate Enverald and the base Enverald, which came out in, I believe, Set 8, because people were saying that it's not very good.
Yeah, Set 8.
I personally, that's the one thing I disagree with, is not having any of it in the main deck, or even in the side deck. Because it just, when you get to put it off with Liberated Enverald, it works so well.
Yep.
But I see why they didn't do it, because it works just as fine without. But they do have a lot more levels. We realized that there was two ways that we could go about building Crystal, and both work exceptionally well. This being one of them, which seems like pretty much an all-round kind of deck. It feels like a very consistency deck, one that is about getting your bigger pieces out as early as possible. Maybe like not so much an Enverald turbo, but like level 4 turbo perhaps. Yep. Getting things out and then just like rushing them in the late game with like a Gate Guardian and things that just increase the drawback, which is why I'm surprised Refract Attack was in the side.
Yep.
But then I can see that because like space with the upstart and everything else.
Yep.
Two things that surprised me, that there's no Aura Searcher, because that was a thing that came out. There's no Aura Searcher. But they did replace that with 3 of the Role of Envy, which is what we've been established the best Crystal Aura in the game.
Revolt of Envy?
Yes.
What does that card do again?
It is the one where when a Crystal ally wins a battle while supported, you can expend a spirit to re-engage it.
Oh, that's right.
But it can't attack direct.
Oh.
Yes, we found that this is the best Crystal Aura so far.
Wow.
No one plays the older one that lets you draw a card because it's just not good anymore. You're expending and drawing, and it doesn't really get you very far. But no, overall, this deck's impressive. The deck's very
cool.
It is really.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. All right, I like what I'm hearing.
Yeah, and obviously, this feels like both decks have been pretty much solved at this point. I managed to get my version of the deck up to winners round 3, so I was very close.
Yeah, no, that's actually really close to top 6. Yeah, Crystal just, it has consistency. It has one of the best early games in the game. If you don't out it, you die. There are 5 billion different ways of building it. It's just an all-around perfect deck for this game. I really like what I see out of Crystal.
One other thing I will say about Crystal though, and this is something that people need to be aware of, while it is one of the best decks in the game, it's also very matchup reliant.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Its bad matchups are abysmal.
Yeah, if you go up against any form of control at all, it loses.
Yeah. Speaking of control.
Actually,
did you have anything else you wanted to say before I do my terrible segue?
No.
All right, terrible segue time. Speaking of control, IDL. I love this deck.
This does look like one of the more fun decks that I've seen. I've been tempted to try it out myself.
I love this deck so much.
If I wasn't hipster, I would play this.
No, this is such a cool deck. Okay.
It actually is.
So, first of all, I saw someone draw 5 cards off Pyrrhic Onslaught.
Oh, yes. That happened to me. This was the matchup that got me out of the loser's bracket. This is the one that got me out of the tournament.
Oh my god.
It was going so well. But then but it was also kind of bad because the first time we both bricked really badly, and we were just trying to save our hands and just trying to get anything we could to make something work. And ultimately, Mechanomancer ended up getting on top of game 1, and then he bricked in the game 2. And I don't think we got to game 3. I think just in game 2 we both managed to get a bit better, but we still both kind of bricked.
Yep.
But ultimately, he managed to fix his hand faster than I could. I ran out of resources quicker, and his control aspect was a little bit too much for me to handle.
Yeah, this deck, for those of you who don't know, because we can finally talk about this. So, Dragon Lord of the past has been focused on putting a big beefy boy on the field and then using it for removal effects, while the little guys are made for consistency, getting back resources, and adding more dragons to your hand. IDL works off the basis that you eat the babies by destroying them either in the field or in hand, and then when the babies are eaten, really stupid things happen.
Just eat the babies.
Yeah, so for example, there are 3 different cogs in this machine, and they all kind of work together terrifyingly well. 1, the baby. Actually, no, 4 cogs. There are 4 cogs in the machine, because one of the cogs is an entire card. So, first of all, the boss monster, Valagon, is the only reason this deck works. Valagon is nuts. He allows you to, once per turn, blow up a dragon in your hand, I think also on field, and then invoke a level 4 or lower Dragon Lord from your lost area, Restrained.
Yes.
That effect alone gives you some field swarming. Sure, it comes in Restrained, but, you know, field is field.
Yeah, field is field.
He's playing. We see 4 different level 4 or lower Dragon Lords here, all of having their own different unique special abilities. Tainted Heel can attack the hand, Chagrin can attack the field, and then Strange Force can make it so that you can't gain life points, lol. All of them have their own individual, unique, very powerful special abilities. Valagon himself, if he's blown up, can engage an ally. So if you Valagon off Valagon, so Valagon summon, activate effect, blow up a dragon in hand. If the dragon you blew up is another copy of Valagon, you get to engage the ally that you summoned.
Yes.
Which is nuts. That's 9 damage on board right there.
Yeah, and also in some way, I remember there was one way that you could actually re-engage Valagon himself.
Oh yeah. No, there's a lot of ways you can pull that off as well. That's cog number 1. Cog number 2 is the level 4 Dragon Lords I spoke about earlier. These don't have effects to blow up the Dragon Lord, the Dragon Babies, but they do have effects that allow you to, you know, win some certain matchups. Like I said, they all have a different unique application in the game, and they're also beaters that you summon off of Valagon, so you have to play them.
Yes.
The 3rd cog in the machine is the babies.
The babies.
The babies. The babies all, when destroyed, say, go plus 3 billion in some capacity. Some of them search, some of them dump, some of them summon copies of themselves from deck, and they all plus you in such insane, crazy ways. But that's when we get to cog number 4, is Pyrrhic Onslaught as a card. This spell is cracked.
It's like, I don't know, like, yeah, that's a lot of draw power.
It's insane. It basically says, so for those of you who don't know, during the end phase, draw cards equal to the number of dragon allies that were destroyed this turn.
It's actually crazy. Like, I am kind of surprised. Well, okay, I'm not so much surprised that it's a 2 of as opposed to a 3 of, because 3 can be kind of bricky, I suppose.
3 is absolutely bricky, yeah. 3 is very
2 is
bricky.
fine. 2 is fine.
Yep. Mount of the Black Dragon is actually by itself 2 activations of Onslaught.
Yeah.
It's nuts, dude. It's so cool. I love this deck so much.
It is actually amazing.
It's so cool. I can't wait to show you guys the set 11 support, honestly. I just got done making all the Blaze cards, and the set 11 support is crazy good. It's so good.
I look forward to it. You know I look forward to set 11. But we're talking about that later.
Oh no, we'll talk about no, we're gonna talk about set 11 in the next video we're recording.
Yes.
First place list. This is a deck we have not seen do anything, and I don't know how long. It's so cool that this deck is back. Dragon God.
Dragon God.
This is a cool deck.
Yes, and there has been a lot of theory around Dragon God as a deck as well. Like, there's...
Oh yeah. I've heard about 3 different ways of building it, and they're all so cool.
You've heard of 3. I've heard of 2.
I've heard of... So, the first one is Mahadmaless Dragon God.
Yes.
The second one is Kumbhakarn redirect shenanigans. And the third one is the one that you see before you, which is basically Vishnu Turbo.
Yeah, Vishnu Turbo is probably... And obviously that's the one that's done the most.
Yeah, it's the one that's done the best. This deck is, even with the nerfs that are going to be coming up, this deck is still, like, the list you see before you is still absolutely applicable and absolutely usable. This is an incredibly cool list. Tempest of Flames and Flaming Inheritance finally being good in a deck again, like main deck staples, is so cool to me. I love these cards so much. Like, I just like them. They're cool.
Yeah, I'm noticing there isn't a whole lot of the new theme deck stuff in.
Yeah, there's well, okay, the only one that isn't seeing play is the Audacity spell. Everything else is seeing play. You have 3 copies of all the new theme deck stuff in this deck. Garuda, Rites, Ravana, and Vishnu are all at 3 copies, and they're all very powerful cards. Vishnu's a powerhouse, and we'll talk to him about him in a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll talk about him when we get to the card. We know where we like to sit down and talk about possibly good cards in the next upcoming sets. But it's such a cool deck, bro. It's so cool.
It actually, like, honestly.
I really like this build. Everything pluses, everything dumps, everything gets ready. And then after you've grinded the opponent out of resources, if they haven't killed you, you have Maharam, which is a stupid nuke. It's just a big freaking chungus that hits the board and smashes everything in the face.
Pretty much.
So cool. It's so cool. There are no spells that I can tell, other than the one in the side deck, that activate when Mahad's on the field. Because the whole point of those spells is they exile themselves when Mahad's on the board to do cool things.
Yeah.
But, I mean, hey, I guess you didn't need it.
No.
Here's a neutral spell that never saw play before. Return of the Hero.
Return of the Hero,
Never saw play before.
I've never heard of this.
It's bad Revive Curse. It expends 1 and discards in order to add an ally from lost back to hand.
Oh, so it's like Monster Reincarnate.
Pretty much. Basically the idea is because this deck has so many ways of dumping crap and you want them in your hand anyway, discarding really isn't that bad.
No.
It really is not that much of a minus, and that's actually really cool. Like, that's a pretty cool stuff.
And just as well, it can add up to the Mahad condition of having 7 Dragon Gods.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it can add up to that. Overall, very, 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 very cool deck. I'm a big fan of what we see.
Yes.
So let's talk about Vishnu then. I'm putting Vishnu up on the screen, as you can see.
Alrighty.
Also, you're back on camera, so wave to hi mom. I'm on camera now. Turning on my light a little bit. There we go.
Look, Mom, I'm on the internet.
Look, Mom, I'm on the internet. Vishnu. I'm sure you can pull it up in the master search. Do you need me to give you the card?
I'll grab it.
All right.
I was looking for it just a second ago.
There you go.
Let me get it quickly.
Yep.
Back. Here we are, Vishnu.
There we go. So Vishnu has 4 effects. But
yeah.
Depending on how many Dragon God allies you have in the Lost area. If you have 2 or more, it gets 4,000 power. It becomes a 30k beater. If you have 4 or more, after it attacks, you can, if it didn't kill the ally, you can engage it again. So it outs perfect defense.
Yes.
If you have 6 or more, when it wins a battle, you can engage it, but it cannot attack directly, so it double attacks. And if you have 8 or more, when your opponent declares a direct attack, you can nullify the attack and then engage him.
I love this. I love everything about this.
Really cool effects. All of them are super floaty, super tempo based. It's really cool stuff.
It's no wonder Remote Cats like this card so much, because he feared perfect defense a lot.
Yeah, perfect defense is just. Oh, by the way, yeah. Perfect defense can do nothing against this deck now. This guy literally says, "Oh, you negated my attack. Okay, I'm back. What's up, dude?
Oh, you negated my attack? Do it again.
Do it again, buddy." I actually really like this effect. I might slap it on more things. I'm a very big fan of this sort of effect.
Yeah, it's actually really cool.
It's a lot cooler than Armades, I can say that for sure.
Yeah.
But Vishnu, being as good as he is, the effects, one thing we might do to fix it up is make all the effects need one, we might have it go 3, 6, 9, 12. Which is yeah, considering it doesn't need different names, that's fair, I'd like to say.
I can respect.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of Vishnu, though. I love Vishnu. Vishnu is so freaking cool.
So,
yeah.
Vishnu actually made me interested in this deck.
Oh, yeah, no. Vishnu...
It made me think about building Dragon God for Vishnu.
No, dude, that's why Mahatma is really cool.
Yeah, I might actually try that out.
Well, no, it's kind of a mean copium deck, but it's also funny. It's also funny. Like, it's also funny. Because you don't need to fill your deck with things made for Mahatma. You can still run 1 just, because you can.
Yeah.
What other cards in set 10? Are there any other cards in set 10 we think we need to talk about? Because I think we've gotten pretty much everything covered.
Oh, good. Let me have a look. If there's any. I mean, we want to talk about the one thing I did want to address is I don't know if it's the most overhyped card in Arakai history or just the most done dirty Springboard.
Oh, let's talk about Springboard. Let's go.
Let's talk Springboard.
All right, let me get the Springboard up on the screen.
Yeah.
Cards, sets, set 10, neutral, Springboard Trap. This card had a lot of promise, but people eventually figured out, wait, I just need to not summon to that zone Lamau.
Yeah.
The only thing it really does any damage against is Dragon God, and that's basically it, though.
Yeah, like, everyone's like, oh, this card's going to be so amazing, it's going to out so much. Like, no, just Dragon God.
No,
Card's kind of bad. Card's kind of bad.
It's really funny to go, okay, this is my kill turn. I activate Springboard Trap. I target the middle zone. I then swing for game. You activate Mahatma. Mahatma summon Bouncy.
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 Bouncy, go away. No more. Stop it. No more.
It's a funny card, but it's not good in practice at this point.
It's too easy to play around. Someone tried to pull it on me in a Maligned Armor Dragon. I read it. I went, oh crap, and then I realized, wait.
Just don't invoke into area.
It loses. I lose one of my zones, which for Nanomite can actually kind of matter sometimes.
So it could be. So it could beat Nanomite.
The only turn it matters for Nanomite though is turn 1.
Yeah.
That's it. Because afterwards they just go, oh, I just summoned it again because they're all level 1s.
Let's just see what others. Another highlight I want to give that didn't appear in like any of the winning decks was the new tome stuff.
Ooh, yeah. Let's talk about that.
When I went up against like one of my worst matchup was like the Ice Tome matchup.
Yeah.
Because cryo counters are nasty.
Cryo counters are insane.
They bullied me. I got bullied by Gunner.
Hey Mike.
Yes.
Set 12.
Oh god. I know. Let's go.
Listen, buddy, you'll get this reference. What deck do you think Kione uses?
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah, boy. Well, no, that one's also because, you know, listen, Yun needs his ice waifu. Everyone needs an ice waifu.
That's fair. That is fair.
Needs an ice waifu. Well, ice waifu is good. Anyway, though, my terrible writing aside, we have Hera here. So I put Hera on the screen because, you know, she's the boss for the tome stuff. Hera's so cool.
Oh yeah.
She so when she's summoned, right? She targets a spell with aura in the spell zone and puts up to 5 lore counters on it and gives it awaken. Basically, the awaken keyword lets you summon auras as allies. So if you have too many auras, for example, or you don't have anything in hand and you need to make a board, Hera's got your back. You don't need to summon them the instant that the lore counters are put on them, meaning that in the late game, if you're getting into a grind game, you can just make the biggest boy on the planet. You can also stack on the same thing over and over again, so it is possible to make a level 10 ally in this game now.
Yes, it is.
Yes. Big books.
Yes.
Big.
Just I can imagine like in the actual like animation or whatever, the player just has like like Hera just gets a giant book and just smacks the opponent.
Somebody. Actually, have you ever seen Soul Eater? It's the Maka Chop.
The Maka Chop. I love it.
Chop.
I love it.
Oh, it's great. No, but this deck's actually really cool. A lot of pieces were added to make the tome engine, quote unquote, a good thing for title decks like Ice, but also the Haven Tome build got a lot of buff from this as well.
Oh yeah. Because there was one time where someone was trying to put, it was Shom. They swapped out a lot of their Haven stuff for like the crystal pieces.
Yeah, Haven Tomes was not Crystal Tomes was a deck for a little bit.
We found out that it didn't work as well as people thought.
Yep, but I mean, hey, it's still a possible idea.
Oh yeah.
One of the cards I'm waiting for someone to break is Arcturio Malevolent Tome Magician.
Oh, this one.
Come on, someone break this, please. Someone snap this card in half, please. Please.
Looking at Arcturio.
Yep. This deck might actually be nuts.
Oh yeah, this one, the one with 0 power.
Yep, the 0 power, but he gets large.
I feel like this would be better in like the original tome build as opposed to Awakened tome.
Yeah, no, it would definitely be better in base tome build. But it's so funny.
Right, someone call me in.
I just want to call him Gaston.
Gaston.
When he was a lad, he'd 4 dozen tomes every morning to help him get large. And now that he's old, he eats 5 dozen tomes. So he's roughly the size of... I'm not gonna finish the song.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things you can do to like, so like, he pops his own auras and you can use an effect to get them back and basically make like his protection effect is insane. I just really want this card to be broken. It's a really, really, really cool card.
Yeah. And it gets like he loses power when you do his protection, but you can just get it back. It's
get it back. Yeah, pretty easy. There's something here. I want to see it happen. Make it happen, guys. The one last deck that I want to talk about that we did not see any of in the tops or even mentions or whatever is Chimera.
Chimera, this gem.
I think genuinely I believe it's unsolved. I really think there's something here.
Yeah, I don't doubt that. I've just never played it.
Yeah, it's like there's gotta be something here that's unsolved. They got a lot of really good pieces, and Redemptor Beelabukter, when summoned, is kind of a powerhouse.
People were saying that like a lot of the Beelabukter stuff is actually bad.
I think it's great. I don't know about you. I don't think you play Beelabukter Bishadow, for example, but I do think you play other things. But another thing that Chimera got that's pretty cool is Hollow Carrier. I love this card. It's so cool. It's just the boss monster searcher, but it searches Airgeist or Aramax.
Yeah, like
either or. It adds any of those 2 allies. So if you don't want to play a Beelabukter build, you can still build Chimera just fine with those 2.
Yeah. Like the last Chimera build people were talking a lot about was actually Aramax.
Oh yeah, Aramax is still a good card.
I both love it and I hate it at the same time. Like it's one of those cards. I love that it exists, but I hate going against it.
Random discard is so cool. Random discard. But the Chimera stuff in general, I think there's a lot of untapped potential. Get it? I think there's a lot of stuff here that we need to that hasn't been quite discovered yet. Mastimer is kind of a good card as well. Like there's a lot of really good pieces here. It just needs one more push or maybe some buffs. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And you know, we'll see where it goes from there.
Yeah.
But that was the overall coverage for the set 10 leagues. Mike, thank you so much for joining me for this video. I'm gonna see you in literally 5 seconds when we record the next video. So yeah, buddy, I will see you in the next video. And to you guys who are watching, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and specifically what to comment. Tell me down below if you're playing set 10 format, what are you looking forward to playing? What are you looking forward to testing with? And remember, guys, that tomorrow is the Set 1 League with a chance to win $50 on the line if you can best our first, earliest, and most butchered format in the game. So we look forward to see you guys there. Yeah, we look forward to seeing you guys there. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I'll see you guys later.